Now we're getting closer and closer to some big events. We're going into the holidays, we're going into a new year, we're going into a new presidency, and it's all going to come down to one thing. It's not about them or us or sides or America. It's about this. That's it. And you're going to see some big shifts with those entrenched in the material world and absolutely so enthralled with all of this that they're not understanding the power of this. We're going through gateways now. You have a chance to go through a gateway. I'm going to talk to you about what that actually means, because you have to make some choices right now. Why? Because, well, you don't have to do anything. Because if you want to go into that other space of a new world, we talk about a new world, it's just a new way of feeling, living, believing, and the consequences, the results, and the shift in reality from that. It's so critical right now for you. Events are lining up for us to personally make those choices. I'm going to talk about this because this is so important, but it's all in your hands. Let's go. Welcome to Landria, Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through those fears and live an amazing life. I hope you'll subscribe. Everything you do, this thought is changing a different path. If there's an island thousands and thousands of miles out there and you're in a boat, no matter how big your boat is, and you cannot see that island, and you have an idea where it is, if you're off by this much, you're going to miss it and you'll never even know. That's what's going on right now. We have a chance to change, and it's not one big decision. It's every decision. It's every decision. It's how you speak, how you see the world. I see people, because we've talked a lot about the big changes, especially here in the United States, still talking about politics and saying how we feel, how America feels. I said, no, it's not about that. And it's about how you feel. Don't speak for other people, don't speak for the planet, and don't speak for our country if you truly believe in free will and choice. Otherwise, that's the ego saying, this is us, this is what we want. No, it doesn't matter. It's respecting one another and going into this space. Now let's go into it, because you have a choice, a big one. Those of you who've read my book, Breakthrough Fear, know that there's some big openings happening right now. We've gone into the tipping point. We are now into that space where choices are being made to either take this planet into a new space or to hang on to the old world that has always been in conflict and separation, taking sides and calling each other wrong. Now you get to choose. Now, those of you who saw my video, we have a big exit strategy. This is a planned exit strategy. Do I have something here? A planned exit strategy, what is that? People have purposely been choosing to leave the planet at certain times to reinforce the, let's say, I don't want to say forced changes, but obvious changes that have to take place. Our lockdown was a big one. A lot of people said, oh, I'll go during that. I'll exit, because when people exit the planet, it comes to our attention that we have to do something different. We had to function differently. And it was in our face. Who are we as a society? You know, how are we functioning out there? And so that shifted us big time. It's going to start happening again and again. So people will leave during cataclysmic events, whether it's earthquakes or fires or mudslides or whatever it is, are going to say, I'll participate in that. And there will be groups of people who leave. It brings attention to us as a society and as a species as to whether or not we are going to step up to the plate or back off in fear. All right? So I hope you guys will read the book. It was a download. Download, man, it's giving us information, the information that you hold right now. So what are the choices that have to be made? And they have to be made because every moment is a choice. You don't get out of making choices. You say, I'm not going to make a choice. That's a choice. Not making a choice is a choice. Which one would you rather make? Would you rather say, it's not easy, I'm going to have to make it through this dark, stinky basement, find the stairs, get up to whatever's at the top of it, open the door, and climb my way up to each floor until I get to the penthouse, and it will be worth it? That's what we're doing right now, okay? That pathway from here to there isn't always an easy one. It can be scary because it's change. Now, I want you to know that no matter how awakened you are, how enlightened you are, those of you who are in that space of total peace, and I mean really, really awakened, means we don't even have those discussions anymore. There's nothing to talk about. It's total silence. I call it the knowing. We don't have to discuss it, you know? But as a human being, your feelings, emotions, fears, all these things will still be here. It's part of the energy field of being a human. So no matter how awakened you get, don't expect that to go away. It just no longer controls you. It's like, you know, something in the room, you're not engaging in it anymore, but it's still in the room. It's here as part of the matrix experience. The choices that are being made right now are, am I still going to be taking sides and talking about that's going on out there? Or am I looking at the good things that are happening? Now I'm going to tell you something that I'm seeing shifting. This you're going to love. There are people doing amazing things, and you're probably not hearing it because, you know, those who would like you to think we're going to hell in a handbasket are going to place the worst possible stuff on you and spin things to help you to make choices that they want you to make. Yeah, the egos that still get off on power and money, all right? The material world. And we are this, and no, we aren't anything. You still get to make an individual choice, even if it's not popular with other people. You just don't talk about it. You don't have to share this with people. You're not here to change somebody's mind, okay? Let them make up their own mind. Lead by example and light. All right, so what's going to happen is you're going to see all of these spaces when you focus on that light and you take higher paths and you're always choosing unconditional love or at least compassion, and you don't go into judgment, separation, right, wrong, all that stuff. I know it's tough. Well, how can that not be wrong? How can that not be bad? Because the one created everything and it has purpose. So that very bad thing it's the teaching, it's the lesson, it's the test. And people participate in that purposely to be a part of that shift of contrast. Well, it's the experience of contrast. Otherwise, we just sit around eating bonbons on the beach. I don't even like to eat bonbons on the beach. So what's going to happen over here is you're going to see these great opportunities for positive change, all right? You're going to have to start making some decisions. But when you shift into a higher gear, what happens, frequency, when you go up in the penthouse, now you see the view. You get the champagne up there. You see how amazing people are there because you couldn't see it from down here. When you're up there and you see it because you're in that frequency, you're in that high frequency, now you're getting exposure to that. So now you're going to see the better media, the happier media. You're going to see digitalexplorers.net. I created an entire business to help people create planet conscious businesses doing what they love. We're going into passion, purpose, positive impact. Then we go into profits. So we're taking that material world, the power of the material world, and we're transforming it into a higher frequency. Money isn't bad. Somebody said, I can't believe you're talking the spiritual and then you talk about your condo and going to a better condo. Hello, I live on planet Earth. Do you want me to live in a cave or under a rock? Enjoy the material world. What are you doing with it? Are you attached to it? Is it what makes you happy or sad? If it's controlling you, then you have to look at that. Now, I talked about the exit strategy. Now, let's talk about, so people will leave. It's okay. We're eternal. They're going to an amazing place. We're the ones here, living it out. The other thing is that I'm experiencing, some of you were writing into the comments saying, yes, what is that? These flashes of constantly just coming into your head of your entire life, of that moment. that you're playing kickball. I mean, things that don't even make sense. Why is that one snippet? And it's constant. And then it comes in, you're like, what is this? Why is this coming up? It's not relevant to anything I'm doing. You're getting life reviews right now. What is that? You're getting access to everything, and working it out. Now, here's what I want to share with you. Choices. Those are all lessons. And if there's anything you regret, I want you to remember, you made a decision according to where you were at that moment. Here's the choice. When you see these things, if you continue to make those similar choices that were on a lower frequency, now you got something you got to start to work on. All right? If you made a mistake, according to you, you didn't. You just were in a learning experience. That's it. Did you repeat it? Are you repeating it? You cannot go through the next gateway. You have to let that go. The whole point of the life review that's happening now, no death experience required, is so that we can look and say, what have I learned? Now, how am I going to apply it? We're applying it now. Does this make sense? Apply it now. I don't have to be in poverty or illness or anger or blame or separation. I don't have to be controlled by the material world. And I now understand this. I now am over here, and I understand the value of all that. But I know I will still experience feelings and emotions. I'm still experience the human journey. You came here for the human journey. And the highs and lows of that. But instead of doing this is, all right, you're up here doing this. Does this make sense? So you're on a higher frequency. You still experience some highs and lows. But you're doing it from up here. Not, oh, I went off the planet to, life is wonderful. What are you upset about? Yeah, something happens and we do that, right? Everybody's gone through that dark night of the soul and life is great. And then, you lose your job and you're going, Because if you're relying on the material world, it's going to take you on that roller coaster. So you got to let that go and say, I have to go in here and say, everything I do has to be a contribution to the greater collective. The greater collective. Not this political party or these guys, or they're doing bad stuff. And why are they doing bad stuff? Why? They're making a choice. This is free will planet. We chose to come in and be around that. Why? Because we can change it. And we have to evolve this first. So when you've got to do this first. You cannot be trying to fix everybody if you don't have this right. Okay? So how do you get this right? By assisting, by giving, by loving, by sharing. And by the way, I call it no tolerance zone. I have this much patience right now for people who are now just doing stupid crap in my world. I can say no. Without judgment, I can say, I don't prefer that behavior. I don't want to be around that behavior, and speak up for yourself in a way that just says, listen, this isn't okay with me. Or I'm not going to hang around with you if you behave this way. It's just, we don't have to have a discussion. Because discussion is trying to say right and wrong and I'm going to understand you. No, you're not. If they don't get why you're stepping away, then they need to go into introspective discovery. Okay? Maybe that's the best thing. So don't engage in all these crazy conversations. That's still the ego trying to make sense of things. You can't. It's a choice, that's it. It doesn't work for me. Now, you don't want to get rid of everybody who does something you don't like. You'll have zero friends, trust me. So, right? Because you're always right and they're always wrong. We all do stuff. We all do stuff. And that's that human aspect. Be okay with that. I got to awaken more. I got to go into enlightenment. Like, you might be there. You might be there. But that depends. Is the material world controlling you to the point where you can't look past it? So if you're going through changes and pain, loss of any kind, so many people and animals have died lately. Wow. Holy cow. Like, there's the exit strategies happening. They don't want to participate in this next chapter on the planet. Their choice, and that was pre-planned, is these soul groups. Some of them, some people said, I have to exit in order for you to go on and do your job. I shared with you earlier, if I hadn't gotten divorced, it wasn't messy, it was a great guy, just, I won't go into details. Let's just say it was the best thing for us to part company. You go through phases and it's great then, and then it doesn't mean it's that decision's for the rest of your life. And so if I hadn't gone through that divorce, which I was like, I felt free. And I felt like I could now be myself. And, whose fault was that? Nobody stops you from doing anything. You always have a choice. Nobody makes you feel a certain way. He made me sad. Nobody makes you anything. When you realize you have 100% of that control, you realize, I don't like this feeling. I don't want to be around this. I have to make a choice to change my life, my energy field. That person's not responsible for it. Why was I attracted to that person in the first place? It worked at the time. Then you learn, you go on, or you don't. If you stay in these situations, then you are not progressing. You're not going to go through the gateway to the new era, okay? And so what happens then? You have to make a decision, because that person who left, no matter what is the job, the relationship, the death, opened a door for you. You guys remember Koo Bear, my little stray cat that used to come into the house? Yeah, and he'd go out every morning. He had to go out and stroll the neighborhood. I got him fixed and everything. Well, he had some kind of neurological thing going on, and coyotes got him one morning. And every day I said, oh my gosh, I shouldn't have let him out of the house. But if I hadn't let him out of the house, he would have scratched the door down because he was a stray. And second of all, I gave him the best possible life I could. I fed him, I took him to the vets, I got rid of his fleas, he slept in the bed with me. Do your best. You cannot be responsible for everything. You gotta let yourself go. I still look back and it hurts. But I understand, if he hadn't left then, I probably wouldn't have moved from that house, because there's no way I could have taken him with me, because he was a territorial cat, and I would have just, been sick, leaving him there. He exited for a reason at that time. These things are going to happen. They have divine purpose. I promise you, nothing's chaotic. Nothing just happens. Nothing is an accident. Nothing. And if you look back at every little choice and thought and whatever came up to that moment, if you think about it, it makes perfect sense. It's that tipping point. It wasn't one thing. It was maybe one grain of sand tipped it. And you're thinking, wait a minute, that one little thing couldn't. No, it was all the grains of sand that tips it. Your thoughts count. All right? So we've got to clear this up, and you've got to let go of the material world and who's doing what. It doesn't matter. There'll be more presidents. There'll be more earthquakes. There'll be more hurricanes, whatever. It's all part of the evolution and experiences of the planet, of people, of decisions. We all make our own decisions. We got people out here in the Barrier Islands went underwater, and they will never leave. Never. They want that. It's okay. Oh, get out of it. I'm not going to live in fear. And when I'm ready, I will do what I want to. And if I go glub, 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 all right, that's my choice. You can say, oh, that's stupid. Well, guess what? You're going anyway someday. How do you want to go? Laying in a bed in fear, protecting yourself all the time? How do you want to live your life right now? It's so important. And when you open up and you move right past that fear, you go into a space of awakening, but more than anything, you're tapping into that power where you have unlimited creative source, which is you. It's everything. It's not, well, I can't say I am. You aren't separate from it. Everything is it. Okay? It's the finger. Well, I'm not source. Well, yes, you're still the finger on the body. You still are a part of it. It's okay. Ye are all gods. These things you shall do and more. So people are talking about, miracles and all this stuff and what we can and can't do. It's like, have we sort of like forgotten Christ who walked on water and did all these things and like demonstrated that this was quantum physics, that when you go into that frequency and you move past the barriers of limitations, your spiritual butt kick, right? That you don't have any. It's a choice. You can walk on water. Why? Because energy works with you, because it is you. He wasn't talking to water that said, will you work with me? He was the water. All right? He was everything. He knew that there was no separation between him and what was in a different form. And so therefore, he transformed it. Not as the separate, creator that was making it do something it didn't. It was him. He is the creator. He knew this. Ye are all gods. That's what he meant by that. You can do this too. Why? Because you are creating, and you're creating every moment in your life. So let's start with that, because it's too big for most of us to say, oh my gosh. But we know healings happen. It happens in my Miracle Circle class. People have written me and said, I didn't want to say anything, but during the session, even if it's the recording, I've had people contact me and say, oh my gosh, you won't believe what happened. I said, actually, I will. I will believe it. So this is what's happening right now, and I call it the gateway. When you go through Breakthrough Fear, my course, we go through gateways. You have to master something. And the first gateway is when you just keep letting go and letting go and letting go. And it's opening up and opening up, and then miracles happen and events and people show up. And you're going to start to see the media. And some of my, when you guys go into my description, I have links to all the products. Some of my companies that supply those products that are all no plastic, no toxics, whatever. Go explore all of that. It's amazing. They said that they are now refuse to post anything unless it's positive. How AI is actually learning how to talk to whales. How you might say that's bad. This wasn't bad. How a new bird species has come back. Like, we don't hear this. We hear the bad stuff. They're posting all these amazing things. They're shifting the frequency of Instagram. When you subscribe, you're shifting the frequency of YouTube, because now we're choosing the positive, powerful messages. You hold that power. Subscribe does it. It tells YouTube something. It tells the algorithm something. You go, oh, okay, these messages, these keywords, these channel creators, they're choosing that. It's going into higher frequency. It's really that simple. Everything counts, my friend. You can go through the gateway. And don't expect the experience of being human, the sadness, the pain, when you see suffering. You know it's unnecessary, but it is necessary for them. They're choosing it. Just be the conduit for a new choice, not a judgment or trying to change it, a new choice for it to change, an option for it to change, so that that choice is open for them because you opened the door for food, for healing, for help, for love, for comfort, whatever it is. And it starts with your friends. You know, how am I reacting here? I got a little pissed off at a friend recently. I was like, we're all doing these really nice things for, even got a little snappy. And I snapped back and I said, hey, sorry for, trying to invite you to some things. You get a little crabby with me. Sometimes you just have to speak up in kindness. So you don't have to be the rug. You don't, I shouldn't want, to live in a condo that doesn't have screaming kids out at the pool. I must awaken in spiritual. No, I'm sorry, you're a human. Enjoy this. And by the way, stuff's going to show up for you, but it won't control you. It's not what's going to make you happy. It's going to be this great bonus. Like, this is great. I love this. And if you're on a higher frequency, it's going to be things that other people benefit from too. These guys, digital explorers, come on over. If you're entrepreneurial, you don't have to know a thing, not even what you want to do. We take you on a journey of self-discovery. What do I want to do? What makes me happy? What's my passion? Let's create a business around it so I can actually earn doing something I love and making a positive impact for other people, the planet. That's how it should always work. So there are those of us creating these platforms, but not if you're looking at that stuff over there. This is a huge choice. Huge choice. And it starts now. If you haven't been already doing it, right? It's been going on for a long time. It starts now if you are now getting that epiphany. Doesn't matter what you guys are doing. It's your choice. It's part of the experience. That's it. We all go. Nobody gets left behind. It's impossible. All right? So I hope you subscribe to Unlimited, Positive, Beautiful Power. That's you. That's you. And it's that person who's doing horrible things. It is. They're exploring that power of whatever else they can explore in darkness. We would never know it. It'd be boring if we didn't have anything going on. I'm seriously. All right, so on to the next one. We're going to work more on magic. Yeah, we're going to go into that. You are whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. You guys explore my videos. I did a video on Tesla. Tesla was looking into Christ, trying to figure out how he was pulling all these things off. And he looked at it from a scientific viewpoint, just what I said earlier. He said, Christ mastered energy. He just worked with it. He and it were one. And he realized he was just demonstrating what all of us have the ability to do. That's it. He was fascinated with it. And it didn't take away who Christ was, but he looked at those powers differently, and that's what we are. Quantum physics is source, right? So if you want to go into, this is my free email list. This is the Breakthrough Fear. It'll help you go through some of these discoveries. And there's a free webinar in there that talks about those steps. In the description, I have my store on Amazon where small, beautiful businesses are selling non-toxic, vegan. They don't use plastic. I mean, we stay away from that as much as possible. The tablets, Blue Land's one of them. My Blue Land link is down there. My store's down there. The white Bite toothpaste. Stop putting that poison in your mouth. I'm giving you all these options, and I'm an affiliate. You guys can do the same thing, right? Your consumer doesn't pay more when you promote that company. The company benefits, the consumer benefits, you too. By promoting good things. This is all good. And all of that can work together. All right, so you are whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Choice. Blessings to you, my friend. Namaste.